Join me as I welcome to the microphone General Azubike Ihejirika, the chairman of today's occasion and former chief of army staff of Nigeria. Put your hands together, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for this lion heart.
Ihejirika Igbo 119, Igbo 119. We know the Iheleja Mandi Karaka, Ikaraka. Akwụkwọ na-adị ụtọ, ọ na-arahụ na mmụta, onye nwere nkasi obi, ọ ga-amụta akwụkwọ. Ọ bụrụ na nne gị na nna gị nwere ego, ị ga-edekwa akwụkwọ ka ụzọ dị mma n'ala Imo.
Ndị Igbo kwonu, Igbo mamanụ, Igbo rienụ. Let me sound a bit formal, but one of the speakers here said His Excellency had changed. He didn't say everything. His Excellency was the first person to welcome me, to organize a small reception party for me as soon as I was made the Chief of Army Staff. I wish to stand on the existing protocol, but permit me to also recognize my sister, Senator Chris Anyang, for the support she gave me when I was in office, along with His Excellency. There were two senators of repute. Finally, I have to recognize Major General Obonna, who brought us up as young officers. I am most delighted to be here this afternoon at the auspicious presentation of the book, Reflections on the Igbo Question, written by our erudite distinguished Senator Hope Uzodima. I warmly welcome Your Excellencies, very important dignitaries, and other guests who have made it to this special occasion. Let me start by saluting the wisdom, courage, and doggedness of the author, who, despite his extremely busy schedule, still created time to document his thoughts on some critical issues that define our unity as a nation. As it's always said, history will be most certainly kind to those who, through their literary and scholarly works, leave to generations unborn the circumstances that defines their world. Distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, in today's Nigeria, there are no lexicons that trigger harsh debate among political leaders across all the geopolitical zones than some of the issues underlined in the book, Reflection on the Igbo Question. By this, I'm referring to the issues of marginalization, restructuring, Igbo presidency, and unity of Nigeria. As we all are aware, the author of the book being presented today, Senator Hope Uzodima, has traversed the country's political terrain in the past 2 decades with rich experience in both the legislative and the executive arms of government. As one of the prominent leaders of the Southeast Zone, he has been an advocate of fairness, equity, and justice as a basis for the Igbos to thrive in a united Nigeria. Even as the executive governor of Imo State, he has consistently canvassed and stood for policies that will further unite us as a country and strengthen our fragile unity, while also championing the security and well-being of the Igbo race at home and in the diaspora. His viewpoints on the critical issues of Igbo marginalization and restructuring, as documented in the book, flows from his wealth of experience in public service over the years, and thus make this book a must-read for all Nigerians. In truth, I share most of the views expressed by the author, based on my understanding of Nigeria's political landscape, having served close to 39 years in the military. My experience over the years has shown that our greatest weapon as a nation lies in our unity, further enhanced by our diverse culture, population, and rich history. In my opinion, the feeling of marginalization is not peculiar to the Igbo race alone, but a national cry. It must therefore not be seen as a basis for separatist agitation. I'm therefore in agreement with the author that these innate desires of our people are better channeled into positive expressions such as technological advancement, industrialization, and entrepreneurship development, which are globally recognized as key strengths of Ndi Igbo. Our continuous desire for Igbo president, or rather, president of Igbo extraction, is a just and inalienable right, but can only be realized through strategic alliance with other zones and not by any hostile agitation, as emphasized in this book. On this note, let me once again commend the author for taking time to put together this brilliant academic piece, which I make bold to recommend to all Nigerians. Authoring a book requires a painstaking process and determination by the writer in the face of many daunting challenges and tight schedules. I wish to also seize this opportunity to call on leaders at various levels to please toe the line of His Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodima, by putting their public service experiences into writing to guide and educate future generations. I thank the book reviewers and the presenters and all other invited guests for finding time to grace this event. Thank you all, and God bless.
That clap was like for a civilian like me. We are talking about Republic of Nigeria. Dr. Igbo John Bosco, we welcome you to the House. Your Excellency, with where we are now, I think we need the grace of God Almighty to guide us into the next item. And so may I plead with the chairman and every one of us to join me as the Imo choir goes in to say, with my Savior ever near to guide me. In the hollow of his hand, in the hollow of his hand, I am safe, God can tide me. In the hollow of his hand. Now that we are in the hollow of his hands, may I humbly invite the book reviewer, Professor Benechima Wanguma, to please step forward to the microphone and lead us, not into temptation, but into the book review. Put your hands together for him. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, the Chairman, other Excellencies in the House, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to borrow and apply the protocol as already established by the previous speakers. In truth, I've known no greater honor than the honor of serving as the reviewer at today's book presentation. My first few words, therefore, are those of gratitude, and they go to the organizers, especially the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Chief Declan Emelumba, who reached out to me and invited me to perform this task. And so I jump into the review. The title of the book, as you've heard, is Reflections on the Igbo Question. And the book, as you already know, was authored by Hope Uzodima, whom we know better as Senator Hope Uzodima, the governor of Imo State. And the book was published by Flames Publishers. And the book has an illustration of the map of Nigeria on the cover, with the geographical region occupied by the Igbos of Southeast Nigeria identified in a distinct color. They say you can't tell a book by looking at the cover, but this is that different kind of book that you can tell by looking at the cover. The book has a total of 206 pages, split into 10 uneven chapters, with a preface, as you would expect. The average number of pages of each chapter is about 23. The font size is relatively large, and the spacing is perfect and makes for a pleasurable read. The book is a compilation of addresses presented over a period of time to different audiences of Ndibo, and covers 4 main themes: marginalization of Ndibo, the need to structure the country, the clamor for separation and the threat to national unity, and then, of course, the presidency of Igbo extraction. In the preface, the author seeks to achieve 3 things. First, the author seeks to explain why he decided to write the book, which in his words are, I quote, to set the record straight for posterity. Thereafter, the author draws the reader into the main subjects of the book, which include the marginalization, the Igbo presidency, or what he prefers to call the presidency of Igbo extraction, the controversial issue of restructuring, and, as I said before, the call, agitation for succession. These are easily the most topical and controversial topics of discussion in the country today. In acknowledging this fact, the author states, a leader, I quote, a leader must take a clear and unambiguous stand on issues that border on the welfare of his people. At the end, the author promises the reader a clear insight into his long-held views on the different aspects of the Igbo question. The chapter one is entitled Ndibo and Project Nigeria. Like subsequent chapters, the book starts with an extract from the chapter, and in the chapter, the author seeks to dissect the position of Ndibo in Nigeria. His analysis is not restricted to the present-day Nigeria, but includes a historical perspective of the unique challenges that faced and continue to face Ndibo over time. He further laments the predicament of Ndibo in present-day Nigeria, in spite of their position as one of the largest ethnic groups in West Africa. He highlights the unique attributes of Igbos, such as resilience, tenacity, creativity, and then, of course, celebrates the pioneering achievements of notable Igbo men and women. And finally, he argues that it is in the best interest for Ndibo to remain an integral part of Nigeria, where they can use these unique attributes to excel. In chapter 2, titled Ndibo Beyond 2019, in this chapter, the author reaffirms the unique attributes of Ndibo, which enable them to dominate commerce and public service in the country at some point, but regrets that the dominance is no more. He further regrets the lack of cohesion between Igbos and between Igbo leaders. He also blames the post-war policies of the federal government for the current predicament of Igbos in Nigeria. Specific mention is made of the decision to pay only £20 to every Igbo man or woman, and the ban on the importation of stockfish and second-hand clothes as some of the economic policies that were targeted to impoverish the Igbo man. The author also points out the fact that areas of land with huge crude deposits of oil were carefully and deliberately excised from Igbo land. The chapter isn't all about doom and gloom, as the author also highlights the fact that Igbos have overcome these setbacks to be ahead in terms of prosperity, school enrollment figures, and general enterprise. He further challenges the Igbo political class to rise to the challenge of galvanizing those potentials needed for Igbos to achieve their dream and achieve their destiny within the Nigerian project. These dovetail into a discussion on the renewed agitation for separation. He argues that what the Igbo youth truly needs and desires is a nation that offers a level playing field for everyone to thrive and excel. He goes further to blame the current agitation for Biafra on the inequalities of a skewed federal structure. Finally, he advocates, however, that Igbos should push for, 1, a restructured federation that offers a level playing field, and 2, a peaceful coexistence in a strong and united Nigeria. Chapter 3 is entitled Actualizing Nigerian Presidency of Igbo Extraction. In this chapter, the author first points out the difference between an Igbo's president and a president of Igbo extraction. He uses a number of historical examples to argue that no single tribe can produce a president without the collaboration or connivance of other ethnic groups. He goes further to give a step-by-step account on how this can be achieved. I'll skip this, hoping that you'll find it in the book. Chapter 4 is entitled The Political Challenge for Ndibo. The chapter starts with a lengthy quote in which the author tasks and emphasizes that Igbo leaders should come together and agree on what constitutes the core interests of Igbos, whether it's separation, restructuring, or the realization of the ambition to produce a president of Igbo extraction. The author goes on to make his opinion known. First, he includes separation or anything that threatens the unity of Nigeria, but identifies a restructured Nigeria and the presidency of Igbo extraction as worthwhile priorities for Igbos to pursue. He further argues that while a restructured Nigeria creates an ideal environment for the Igbo spirit of enterprise to flourish, occupying the office of the presidency is a necessary precondition for the restoration of the psyche of the Igbos, which was battered by the Civil War and its immediate fallouts. In the early part of the chapter, the author bemoans the decline in the fortunes of the Igbos in the military, the public service, the corporate sector, and the Nigerian economy. He blames this partly on the Civil War, but largely on the failure of Igbos to get into the right political alliances. He further acknowledges that while Igbo were involved in the First and Second Republics, they have dropped out of reckoning in the Third Republic. He suggests, however, that Igbo can only escape from the resulting marginalization, not by shouting to high heavens, but by a well-articulated, audacious action. The author goes further to advise on how best Igbos can realize the presidency in 2023. This he puts so clearly in the book. Again, I urge you to go and get the details from the book. Chapter 5, Ndị Igbo in Nigeria, Another Look. In this chapter, the author takes the reader through a sobering voyage. He refers to the fate of Igbos in Project Nigeria. This chapter seems to address the main title of the book, because here the author tries to provide answers to a number of questions. One, are Igbos getting a fair deal in Project Nigeria? Two, is Biafra the best option for Igbos? Three, are the Igbo political leaders alive to their challenges of the Igbo nation and their responsibilities thereto? Here again, the author reiterates the attributes that make the Igbo man stand out, but regrets that their neighbors have not shown them sufficient love. Then he attributes partly to envy. The author repeats his regret that the author repeats his regrets that Igbos have lost a lot of the dominance which they enjoyed before the Civil War. He also traces the origin of the current predicament of Igbos to the post-war policies of the government. Next, he celebrates the fact that hope and life have returned to Igbo land, thanks to the technological advancement of some Igbo sons and daughters whom he mentions. And these Igbo sons live in different parts of the world. He then proposes the establishment of a private sector-driven agency to harness the potentials of these talented and innovative Igbos in the diaspora. Furthermore, the author advocates for unity amongst Igbos and for an end to the current agitation for the separation, arguing that a restructured Nigeria offers the best opportunities to Igbo. In this chapter, he repeats his convictions about what Igbo can achieve as a people. He regrets that Igbos have also become infamous because of their frequent participation in criminality around the world, and advocates for urgent reversal of the trend. In the end, the author throws a challenge to young Igbos to go ahead and repeat the feats of their predecessors rather than dissipating their energy in the clamor for separation. To achieve this, he goes further to advocate the establishment of a pan-Igbo parliament that can liaise with Ohaneze and Igbo to articulate a political, economic, and technological roadmap for Igbo. Chapter 6, Visions for Imo State. In this chapter, the author departs from the issues of pan-Igbo interest and discusses what he described as his Igbo dream, as his Imo dream, in which he simply presents as, I quote, to lift Imo people from poverty to prosperity, unquote. This chapter starts with a summary of the unique advantages of Imo State, as well as her enviable location in the heart of the Southeast and South-South. Thereafter, he identifies that the real challenge is how to transform these advantages into concrete economic development for the ultimate aim of alleviating poverty. In the rest of the chapter, the author comes up with a 5-step strategy for realizing the dream of lifting the citizens of Imo State from poverty to prosperity. These include the provision of an honest and visionary leadership, ensuring the safety and security of lives and property, the creation of an enabling environment for industrialization, the growth of tourism, and the domiciliation of commerce. It is worthy of note that Chapter 6 was derived from an address presented by the author at a Congress of Imo State citizens in the United States. Chapter 7, Journalism and Nation Building. In this chapter, the author departs again from the Igbo question to address a more global issue of journalism and nation building. The author simply recounts the historical role played by the press in the pre-independence era and in the struggle for independence and thereafter charges journalists to always tell the truth. The author admonishes the press for retaining the hypercritical style of the pre-independence era and appeals to them to be more objective. Chapter 8, Nationalism Question. This is a follow-up to the previous chapter. So in this chapter, the author gives a rich history again of the evolution of journalism from the colonial era to the present day, including the role played by journalists and highlighting that same role at various stages in the history of Nigeria. He further acknowledges the essential and indispensable role of the press in a democracy. The author then draws attention to the fact that the country has never been as divided as she is today and challenges the press to work towards healing the division and helping to unite the country again. If you are looking for the connection between this chapter and the rest of the book, here is it. The author uses a number of questions whose answers can only confirm that the current structure of the country is no longer working optimally and needs to be addressed. Finally, he charges the journalists to investigate and report the extent of marginalization and whether the current federal structure is actually working equally for everyone. In Chapter 9, Enforcing Equity and Justice in the Polity. From the title of the chapter, one could almost tell it is about restructuring again, and this is correct. This chapter contains excerpts from the address he read at a retreat of the Southern Senators Forum that held in Calabar in 2018. In this chapter, the author reinforces his conviction that restructuring the polity can be achieved without derailing the unity of the country. He also reiterates his view on restructuring and nationality in the final paragraph. And I quote, "National integration shall be actively encouraged without discrimination on the grounds of place, origin, sex, religion, and ethnic association." In the final chapter, chapter 10, entitled Ending the Scourge of Igbo Marginalization. In this final chapter, the author makes the strongest case yet in his effort to prove that Igbos have been marginalized, or in his words, Igbos have been relegated to the fringes of the Nigerian project. He highlights the case of abandoned properties and the 20-pound rule right after the Civil War as the earliest manifestations of injustices against Igbo. He then goes on to propose that marginalization of Igbo began with implementation of the Second Development Plan of 1968 to 1974, during which no single project was cited in the Southeast. By the author's account, the most lopsided distribution of federal infrastructure was repeated in the Third Development Plan of 1975 to 1980. The author goes on to give specific examples of how projects meant for the Southeast were diverted to other parts of the country. He buttresses his conviction that Igbos were being marginalized by quoting two prominent Nigerians, Lamido Sanusi Lamido and Balarabe Musa, who had openly acknowledged and condemned the continued marginalization of Igbos because of a war that was fought close to 5 decades ago. The author also cites the conspiracy to deny the Igbos the presidency as a direct fallout of marginalization, and also identifies the lopsided distribution of states as the most enduring aspect of marginalization and as proof that the marginalization has continued until this day. The author goes on to propose how best this perennial injustice can be redeemed and remedied. He suggests the emergence of a president of Igbo extraction, the restructuring of the country, and the advancement of technology and intellect for dominance as a way out. The book ends with a list of 12 references. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, I was taught quite early that a book review should be tailored like a lady's skirt. It shouldn't be too short, and it shouldn't be too long. In summary, therefore, the author succeeded in putting across his thoughts and long-held positions on the burning issues of marginalization of Igbo, restructuring, a presidency of Igbo extraction, and the unity of Nigeria. These are central to what he aptly describes as the Igbo question. It is worthy of note that these views have been consistent and unambiguous and have been passionately put forward across the chapters. This would endear the book to anyone who needs to understand the historical, socioeconomic, and political events that have conspired to place Igbo where they find themselves in Project Nigeria. In fact, this means every one of us. My final words, Mr. Chairman. I have had the privilege of reviewing a good number of books, but not many of them have given me as much pleasure as this one has. And if you wonder why this is so, please make an effort to read the book. Mr. Chairman, sir, may I take liberties to acknowledge the presence in the House of three people who are very dear to me. One is my cousin, Ugo Sly. Another is Dr. Kenneth Mwanguma, my cousin. And so my very dear friend, roommate, and classmate, Professor I.N.S. Dozie, the Vice Chancellor of K.O. Mbadiwe University. Ndibo, Ndingwe Madu, Oguloto Hamnano. Thank you very much.
That round of applause was very lukewarm. Could you please put it a lot harder? Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor, for that very specific address to get to us there. It sure wasn't too short, neither was it too long. Very straight to the point. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of welcoming correctly the following personalities in our midst. Their Royal Majesties, King Edward, King Edmund M. Dakoru C.O.N., Mingi the 12th, Amanyanabo of Nembe Kingdom, is here in our house. We also have His Royal Majesty is Dr. Cletus Ike Chukwilumanya C.O.N. Obi of Obinugu. Also in the house, we have His Royal Highness Igwe Sir Anthony Onyekwere, Omaoja II, Igwe Achiwan of Owele Ancient Kingdom, is here in the house. With him is His Royal Majesty Igwe S.O. Uche, Igwe Diora Mma II of Ezira, Urumba South, Anambra State. Sir, we welcome you, Onyeze. I also have the following giants of the judiciary in the house. Here we have Honorable Justice Ijoma Agugwa. My Lord, we welcome you. Honorable Justice T.N. Zeupu, may Lord you welcome with every due respect. Honorable Justice Victor Okorie is in the house. We also have here Sarikin Hausawa of the Hausa community in Imo State, Alhaji, His Royal Highness Alhaji Awalu Suleiman Seidu. Sariki Barakadezua, you're welcome, sir. It is on that note that I would want to, the idea is no dull moment in the house. But before you pick up your jita, please permit me to welcome in a very special way President Isamata Chief Tony Chukwu Isamata. So we welcome you. His Excellency Oke Emuche, Secretary General of Ohaneze Igbo. If you're here, sir, we welcome you in a very special way. Reverend Philip Mwansi, Chairman NLC, Imo State, we welcome you, sir. Barrister Success Akabonye, National Leader of Hope Rising for Imo Youths, we welcome you. Most Reverend Dr. Augustine Ukwoma, Bishop of Olu, sir, we welcome you. Catholic Diocese of Olu, we welcome you, sir. Reverend Father Isaac Uchenna, Reverend Father Raymond Kwebu, Chief Sam Ude, we welcome all of you with every sense of due respect. And it is on that note that I will want to repeat, no dull moment in this house. The band, please.
Senator Your Excellency Onye Chukwu Jemanu Nimo Akufu Idere Amara Mma Isi gosi na Odese Nabawona Governor Kibu Nimo Isofande Kurakuko na Nimo Uzodima Simbe Karigo Iyamara Reme Kavade Lama Nime Chineke Hanakum Kimereme Odigi Yengoro Hiburu na Onyu Wama Nime Chineke Onyu Wama Odigi Yengoro Odumebo Judai I'm singing a reggae.
Thank you very much. Up ahead, as we will always say in broadcasting, is the book presentation. But before we take that, before I bring in my very senior colleague, I want to quickly welcome to the occasion Professor Vitaly Surikeze Ajumbe. So wherever you are, we welcome you in a very special way. On that note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor of bringing to the microphone the master himself, Sir Bright Mwelwe, who actually will take on the book presentation.
Your Excellency, the Governor, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, how do we go into the next item without confirming to all of us that it is going to be a shower of blessing? There shall be showers of blessing.
Oh, showers of blessing, showers of blessing. Blessings are flowing for the showers we see. Oh, showers of blessing, showers of blessing. Blessings are flowing. Born for
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, in conformity with the spirit of that rendition, it is with due respect I invite a young man, even though he might think that he is an old man, popularly known as an astute businessman, oil and shipping magnate of international connections. Although a humble and community-centered person, he is a consummate politician committed in supporting aspirants with great ideas and focused individuals fully rooted in their community development. I am talking about a man of very high spirit and goodwill, a man of muscles, brain, and power fit to cope with the challenges, including that of presenting this book. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me to invite Prince Charles Amadi, the chief presenter, to present this book. Thank you. All right, Felix. Thank you very much. Prince Charles Amadi, your task is very difficult but very simple. You unveil, you present. Thank you, sir.
Ndị Igbo kwenu. Ndị Igbo kwenu. Ndị Nigeria kwenu. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of our dear state, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodima, His Excellency, the Deputy Governor of our dear state, Professor Placid Njoko, His Excellency, the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Kennedy Ibe, His Excellency, the chairman of this great occasion, our own Lieutenant General Hijrika. Please permit me to hide under existing protocol. I am proud to present this book today. Your Excellency, you are quite unique and special. The Bible said, "My people suffer for lack of knowledge." It didn't say for lack of money or road. You are, to the best of my knowledge, the first governor in Imo to share your thoughts and writings while still serving. Everything will fade away, but documents don't go away. That is why we still talk of Shakespeare and others today. Thank you for your courage in putting this book together. Gentlemen and ladies, I proudly present this spring of knowledge from my governor to you. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel really, really honored. His Excellency, I'm most grateful. It is my privilege today to unveil this spring of knowledge.
Chineke m ka asị m gị nka chinyere anyị ọnwa ka asị m gị nka onye bi n'igwe Chine mere m mma onye dị ka chi na-aza ekpere ọ bụ onye ha jiri papa nke eluigwe eze ebube nara ekele anyị.
Gentlemen, I have to unveil it again. His Excellency's book, presented by my humble self with his permission. His Excellency, I appreciate it.
Karigo, Uzodima, Karigo, Uzodima, Karigo, Omoyoko, Karigo, His Excellency, Karigo, His Excellency, Chigi Marama, 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 Chico Zodima, Chaya Marama, Popo Zodima, Chigi Marama, Omoyoko, Chigi Marama, Your Excellency, Chigi Marama, Governor Ndimo, Chigi Marama, Ana Pravia Bonono, Chigi Marama, Chigi Marama, Chigi Marama, la 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 la, yeah. Aha. Chineke kigwe, ina podorum, mbe moya no na sobu, wagane yenge kele, ekele amake one yegi, otutu amake one yegi, abundi soko na bu, iti kosina ibuchi, wana meye Chineke. Oke toke n'ime gụrụ ọkwa gị si na ị ga-eburu ya ibu isi na ị ga-abụ nke ya ọ nọ n'iru gị oke toke n'ime gị ewo ọ nọ n'iru gị oke toke n'ime gị ọkwa gị si na ị ga-eburu ya ibu anyị isi na ị ga-abụ nke ya ọ nọ n'iru gị. Okay, okay. Akamara makanda koro, Uzodima, aka marama. Onye dere akwụkwọ ka ị ga-akụrụ aka marama. Aka kụwara ya aka marama. Ice, ice.
Hello? Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you. This book, please come and grab your copies. The book is well written. This book is very, very well timed. I tell you, if our brothers in the West and in the North, the political practitioners, if they grab a copy of this book and read it, the political temperature of the country will cool down. We shall do the right thing. They will do the right thing. On behalf of myself and my family, we are going to book for 3,000 of these books. At 25 million naira.
Aka marama ka anyị gara kụrụ onye 25 million. Aka marama.
And this, because we believe this book will make a difference. This book, we shall make sure it goes to each of the senators of Federal Republic. We will also make sure these books will go to each member of the House of Rep. And we'll also make sure it is distributed to 36 state House of Assembly members and the Abuja Legislative Council. Thank you, His Excellency, for giving me that book.
Charlie, I couldn't answer. I'm singing. Carigo, Uzodima, Carigo, Uzodima, Carigo, His Excellency, Carigo, His Excellency, Carigo.
May we quietly go back to our seats. Some silence, some quiet. Thank you. Please. May I? Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you very much. It's okay. Thank you. May we quickly invite these our brothers and our sisters, just in a very quick succession, take very reasonable copies. Obuagu NS Wapa, we shall be very quick about it. Get me another microphone. Quickly, get me another microphone. As he comes there, he takes it.
On the way.
The next one, Sly Ugochukwu.
Ayama Romea, Uzodima, Ayama Romea, Anige Quayano, Ayama Romea, Governor, Ayama Romea, Anige Quayano, Imano de la.
May we please go back to our seats?
Ayama Romea, Anige Quayano, Oya Chukumene Manalimo, Carigo. Aneza Biala, Iwa Kubidere, Ayamane Romea.
Felix is okay, thank you.
Charlie Akuruka say, Kamwagi won't come out.
Everybody, may we be seated. May we be seated. Thank you very much. Chief Tony Chukwu Adiyekari Chukwu has the microphone. quickly, he wants to put a comment and we proceed. Everybody go to your seat. Go to your seat. We'll bring the books to you there.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodima, I observe other protocols. On behalf of myself and my family, to support for this book to be printed more, I will not pledge. I will pay the sum of 5 million naira here.
Account.
Chief Chupu, 5 million naira cash
5 million.
here. Thank you very much. Can you bring him?
Donny Chuku, 5 million cash. I am man.
Where is the Commissioner of Information? Where are your people? Thank you. Silence, please, silence, please. Chief Tony Chuku is about fulfilling his pronouncement now. Felix, please, a second. May we go back to our seats? Everybody, please go to your seat. Please go to your seat. Chief Tony Chuku, conclude, sir.
I hereby hand over the sum of 5 million naira.
Thank you very much. And Akukwake Bandana.
Goro 5 million cash.
Thank you. So quickly, in a quick succession, before we go further, let me invite ladies and gentlemen, as I'm inviting the three speakers, let me quickly acknowledge the presence of the chairman of our party in Imo State APC, Dr. McDonald Ebere. You are most welcome. At this point in time, the microphone goes to His Excellency Right Honorable Ken Nnamani. His Excellency Right Honorable Ken Nnamani for a short speech, and immediately after that, the microphone goes to the President General of Ohanaeze and Igbo, and finally to His Excellency former Governor Ohakim. Captain Iheanacho, you're standing. Thank you.
Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Imo State, I crave your kind indulgence to allow that I can stand on existing protocols. I'd like to take the opportunity to congratulate His Excellency on the excellent book that he has written. I was listening intently to the professor who analyzed the book, and it is a book that not only would I buy for myself, I intend to buy several copies of this book for distribution to all our children in higher learning. I would like to pay for 50 copies of this book in the sum of 5 million naira. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just for a break. Just for a break. The microphone goes to former Senate President quickly for a short comment. And then to the President General Ohanaeze and Igbo. And finally to His Excellency Dr. Ikedi Wakim. May we listen to the voice of the former Senate President, Ken Nnamani. Your Excellency, sir.
Your Excellencies, the Governor of Imo State and his Deputy, the Right Honorable Speaker, Kennedy Ibe. I would like to congratulate the Governor, especially for his taking the right step. It's important for any person who has held a public office to find time and give an account of his stewardship. We expect that as time rolls by, that the governor will find time maybe 6 years, 7 years, 10 years from now, and give a full account of his stewardship. That will encourage others to do the same for historical purpose and for posterity. I have a piece of advice for those who like to criticize. It is important that you read the book first before you run your commentaries. The book reviewer has told us quite a lot. It's a collection of speeches. His address. The governor made several cogent public addresses. And I will recommend almost every Igbo person who cares for Igbo question to find time to reflect as the governor has reflected in the collection of his speeches. I believe the easiest thing people have no problem doing, it doesn't require intelligence to criticize, but before you do that, see what he has said. I listened to the book reviewer. This is a real, well-researched collection of speeches. Well-researched. Because all Nigerians who care to know the plight of Igbos to find time and browse through the books. I haven't read it myself, but from the book reviewer, it has a lot to offer Nigeria. To know where the Igbos stand in Nigerian equation. He did a good work. Thought-provoking issues he raised. It's not as simple as saying we are marginalized. How far are you marginalized? In what area? He touched on that issue. The issue of Igbo presidency or presidency of Igbo extraction, he dealt with it. So I will not go much into the book because I'm not ready, but I am very impressed that he found time to put together his speeches. We expect more from him. He has many more good years ahead. By the time he concludes, then we get the full dossier. This one is a teaser, I believe, because he's still on the stage. I thank you very much for allowing me to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency.
Onye dere akwụkwọ a, ị marala ya, ị marala ya, ị marala. Onye dere akwụkwọ a, ị marala. Ọ napụrụ agụ ihe ọkpụ n'ọnụ.
Thank you very much. The President General of Hanese Igbo Worldwide, the Professor George Ubiozo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ihe na-achọ onye mụọ nwa ihe mmadụ ahụ mụọ nwa ọgbọ gịnị ihe a na-eme gịnị. One of the things ndị Igbo na-achọ today is a sane, viable, prospective agenda for whatever programs we have. We want viability, not cacophony. Today, one of our best and brightest sons have offered us one good area what we need. In other words, this book is like an agenda for Igbo program. There is nothing that is not there. Gentlemen, there is nothing that is not there. Ndị Igbo kwenu.
Yeah.
Kwenu.
Thank you.
Ka gwakwa unu eziokwu. Ndị Igbo si na afọ awụdị onye ụjọ o jiri nwee gịnị buru ụzọ. Ihe niile ndị Igbo chọrọ ha ga-enwetali ya. Ihe bụ problem n'anyị wụ how method enyegbuola anyị na nsogbu. Approach ajọgbuola onwe ya. Ihe nna-achọ ikwu bụ na ọgwụgwọdụ presidency ahụ ndị Igbo ga-enwetali ya. Presidency Igbo is Igbo kwenu. Igbo going on. The Igbo presidency is politically defensible. It's politically what? And is morally justifiable. Are you following? Politically defensible and morally justifiable. It is an idea whose time has what? Let us find the method to get it.
Yeah.
We thank our wonderful governor. You know, one of the things about the governor, Chief Uzodima, which many people do not know, and many people, even they see it, they get surprised, is that he knows it has a sense of timing. He has what? I want to hear that from where they may hear. I want to hear that from here. Only said they are not there. There were dramatic and drastic changes in Imo. Today, we have Ashina Afro Nebu Mwaka. Afro Nebu Ngere Mwaka. Afro Nebu Kirim. And they are more Kirim. Can you end it without more Kirim? Only share on. I will go be share on. I should know anybody share on your garden. I want to add a wife. Igbo, add wise a little bit. I got me the white chair. Igbo,
Yeah.
add wise. Na corono. I get you my age like again. Can you get generation? You know, ma. Why, Igbo go to heart. So, the idea of violence is not Igbo character. Combativeness, Igbo character. Igbo prefers making friends than enemies. Is it not true? That's why they're everywhere. So, Igbo Kwenu.
Yeah.
Literally change the character, we will refuse. And we will resist. Check, Igbo Kwenu.
Yeah.
Kwenu.
Thank you, President General.
The governor,
Thank you very much. Finally and quickly, His Excellency Dr. Ikedi Ohakim, former governor, Imo State. Silence, please.
Obujingidi. Tomato bay on the sauce. Your Excellency Ikedi Ohakim. Carry go. Uzodima, carry go. Uzodima, carry go.
Your Excellency, the Governor, I'd like to stand on every protocol already established. Mine will be very short. I'm asked to make a very short speech. Luckily for me, I wasn't asked to present the book. I was only asked to make a small speech. Let me congratulate my governor for this wonderful feat. I congratulate you from the bottom of my heart. I congratulate you. I thank you for your courage. I thank you for being awake while others are sleeping. I commend you. You're always meditating while others are daydreaming. My happiness is that from today, the world now knows where you stand on every issue concerning the Igbo. The social media tries to paint you in a color that is not your own. Today, you have shamed every shameable thing. Where you stand is very solid on the issue of the Igbo question. I want to thank the book reviewer. Our people find it very difficult to read, but you have virtually read the book for all of us. when we get home today, whether we read it or not, we know what is in the book. I thank you for that. Now, the Igbo question. The book is a reflection of the Igbo question, not a reflection of Nigerian question, not a reflection of West African question or African question. And I believe reflections, Hope Uzodima's reflection on Nigerian question is going to be the part 2 of this book. What is the Igbo question? When you get home, you have to reflect on it. The Igbo question is a simple human being called Jeff. Jeff is the simple definition of the Igbo question. Justice, equity, and fair play. Jeff. That is what the Igbo question is all about. Simple and short. Ndị Igbo say, in a polygamous home, men wa eke emere ibe ya. Obi wee dị ya mma, ka nta m wee laa. In pidgin English, do me as you do my fellow woman, so that I no go vex. But Hope Uzodima has told us today that even if they block you on one road, you must escape through the other. And that escape is called private sector strategy. Presidency is not everything. Those who have been having presidency in the last 35 years, what have they done with it? We must continue to march forward, whether we get presidency or no presidency. That is where I stand. You will recall that in 16th century, 17th century, up to 18th century, the Igbo land had no beggar. Can't see any beggar in Igbo land from 16th century to 18th century, up to early part of 19th century. The Igbo land had no prostitutes. The Igbo land has no single prison where people can go to prison, because law and order has been the bedrock of Igbo land. I thank everyone who is here present. I congratulate you once again, my governor. I want to tell everybody here, this is my short speech. May God bless everybody here. They won.
Thank you
very much. Thank you very much. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, may I humbly request, and at the point that we invite the number one citizen to address us, please remember that we are yet to finish the co-presentation of the book. So let's be a little bit patient and hear the voice of our distinguished Senator Hope Uzodima, Governor, Imo State, to address us on this great event.
Sit down, please. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Imo State, Professor Plastic, the Right Honorable Speaker, Imo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Kennedy Ibe, the Acting Chief Judge of Imo State, Honorable Justice Teresa Chikeka, the Deputy Speaker, Imo State House of Assembly, Right Honorable Amari Wayang, the President, Customary Court of Appeal, Imo State, the President General of Hanese Ndibo Worldwide, Professor Ambassador George Obioso,
the chairman of today's occasion, our own general, one of our best and brightest, the former chief of army staff, Lieutenant General Uzodima retired. Distinguished members of the National Assembly here, the Right Honorable, the distinguished senator representing Imo North, and the members of the House of Representatives who are here with us today, the former president of the Senate, most distinguished Senator Ken Naman, Your Excellency, the former governor of Imo State, Chief Ike Hakim, members of our great Imo State House of Assembly who are with us here, the former deputy governors, Engineer Beru Dago and Dr. Douglas Asholonu, the Secretary to the Government of Imo State, Chief Cosmos Iwu, the Chief of Staff to the Governor, Honorable Commissioners, and members of the expanded State ESCO of Imo State, the Chairman of Imo Traditional Institutions and Community Policing, His Royal Highness Eze Isi Okeke and his team, the Chairman, Imo State Elders Council, His Royal Highness Eze C.I. Ilomaya, Your Royal Highnesses, Great Elders of Imo State and indeed Southeast, the Shaman Christian Association of Nigeria Imo State Chapter, Your Grace, the Catholic Archbishop of Owerri, ably represented, and other bishops that are here with us, particularly the Bishop of Olu Diocese, my Lord Bishop Augustine Okwoma, Imo leaders and stakeholders, the Vice Chancellors of both our federal university and the state universities, the service heads, captains of industry, my very respected leaders, opinion holders of Imo State, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to assume that I will recognize and acknowledge everybody who is present here today for this occasion. I cannot find enough words to describe my joy today. I feel truly elated that this galaxy of personages from across the length and breadth of the country left other engagements that they had just to be present in this occasion. How can I thank you enough? All I can say is that I'm profoundly grateful to you for this rare show of love and solidarity. I've listened to all the wonderful things you have said about my book and myself. I do not need a mind reader to know that all those kind words and salutary acknowledgements came from deep down your hearts. I want to thank you very much indeed. Over the years, leaders worth their salt have, through literary discourses, contributed to the shaping of the societies they had the privilege to lead. For such leaders who think beyond their generation, leadership offers an opportunity to clinically appraise firsthand the challenges of their environment. They are consequently motivated Thereafter, to proffer suggestions on how the immediate challenges can be surmounted. The robust democracies we enjoy today in the more developed countries of the world were shaped partly by the thoughts of great leaders in those countries. In the United States, leaders such as Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, John Kennedy, and lately Barack Obama readily come to mind. We also have such leaders as Clement Attlee, Winston Churchill, and Tony Blair to reckon with in the United Kingdom. All of them have something in common. Their thoughts helped to deepen the robust democracy which their countries enjoy today. In Nigeria, our late sage, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ahmad Bello, and Obafemi Awolowo, they stand tall as leaders whose thoughts helped to shape the original federal project that gave birth to an independent Federal Republic of Nigeria. As Frank Fanon will put it, each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission and try to fulfill it or betray it. In this respect, my well-considered view is that the challenge of our generation of Nigerians is to reinvent a model of democracy that will offer each federating unit a holistic sense of belonging, seasoned by equality, justice, and the rule of law. This task is urgent because it seems obvious that the original federal project conceived by our forefathers and secured by them has become weak and should therefore be strengthened to be efficient and functional. For Ndi Igbo, the challenge of our generation is to insist on our inalienable birthright as citizens of Nigeria who must coexist with other ethnic nationalities as equal partners. A united, strong, and prosperous Nigeria. This is the rationale for my book that has just been presented to you. It is my own modest contribution on how the Igbos can overcome the existential challenges facing them today in Project Nigeria. This accounts for the sense of fulfillment and joy that I derive from the presentation of this historic book today, titled Reflections on the Igbo Question. The book essentially puts together my thoughts on the Igbo question as expressed at different fora over a period spanning over 8 years. This explains the title, Reflection on the Igbo Question. I consider its publication to be part of my responsibility to not just Ndi Igbo, but Nigerians in general. One thing stands very clear: the consistency of my views on the subject matter, which were expressed before I became the governor of Imo State. These views can be aptly summarized in two themes. Igbos have not had a fair day from Project Nigeria since the end of the Civil War. They have continued to cry to high heavens over the sordid dilemma they face in their own country. I believe we have cried enough, and it is time to wipe our tears. The second is that Igbos are citizens of Nigeria by birth. They should never allow themselves to be cajoled out of their father's land and the inheritance. This is our country, and we must stay here and collectively enforce our rights as bona fide citizens of Nigeria. This brings me to what I consider the cross of the challenge of Igbo in Nigeria. It is the urgent need for our self-rediscovery as a people, as the resilient, tenacious, and enterprising people that God, in His wisdom, made us to be. It appears to me that we are gradually losing the true identity of the Igbos. The Igbos we are the Igbos that are resilient, with resilient Igbo spirit that help us to survive the harsh socio-economic environment we were faced with right after the Civil War. It was that spirit that made the Igbos record manifest in many fields of human endeavor in the pre- and immediate post-independence era, which is captured in the book I have just presented. It was the same spirit that propelled the young Igbo men who came to Lagos in the 70s to rise from being hawkers and the Obioma tellers to become captains of commerce and industry. And to establish much sought after fashion outfits. We must rediscover that spirit, including the one that inspired us to produce Ogbunigwe and build many modular refineries during the Civil War. These are the spirits we are known for, which also led to excellence. Not the spirit of timidity, not the spirit of self-defeat, nor the spirit of violence and crave for easy money, which appears to have possessed our young Igbo men of this generation. As I alluded to earlier, a leader must stand firmly for something, be it ideology or belief, which must define the essence of the trajectory of his private and public life. This is more so when the generation of such leadership is faced with challenges that need to be addressed to avert disaster. I think this is the reality of the Nigerian situation today, particularly as it affects Igbos. It appears to me that my people, for no fault of theirs, are currently at a crossroad. This is therefore not the time for me, as a leader, to stand with my hands akimbo and watch a helpless generational drift that could land us into an abyss of endless sorrow. Rationalization and justification are strong weapons of defense, but only insofar as the action taken is for the good of the majority. This book, Reflections on the Igbo Question, is not only for the good of the majority of Igbo and Nigeria, but my modest effort to galvanize the Igbos to rethink and reflect not just on the current challenges, but on the right compass to navigate out of it. For those in the delicate art of medicine, you know that the accurate diagnosis of any ailment is a necessary step towards a cure. In our situation, We've been bemoaning the marginalization of Ndi Igbo in the Nigerian project. That to me is trite. What is urgent is to address a rational and realistic way out of it. That is the essence of this book and our gathering here today. I have been unambiguous in my diagnosis of the Igbo question. In spite of the state of affairs since 1966, the 1966 counter-coup, we are still better off staying in Nigeria. Some may not agree with me, but anyone who takes his time to go through the book will be persuaded to think along that line. I have painstakingly explained the way forward in this book. We need to reclaim our rightful place in Nigeria by building on the comparative advantage we have over other Nigerians. We have to leverage on the special talents bestowed on us by God to ensure that we are accorded our dues in Nigeria. One of the talents is technology. The other is commerce and trade. Currently, the evidence is here that it was helpful to us in the past. And the evidence is also here that it can still help us today. Truth be told, we are dominating in commerce and trade in Nigeria. But we can do far better than that as a people if we put our thinking caps on. In the real estate business, in all the major cities of Nigeria, the Igbos are leading. Most standard business outfits in any remote part of Nigeria is likely owned and operated by an Igbo man or woman. The second most populous ethnic group in any city in Nigeria outside the indigenes of that city are Igbos. How then do we harness these huge potentials to our advantage? The answer is simple. Read this book called Reflections on the Igbo Question. From available statistics, Igbo students across the globe and even in Nigeria are making waves with their technological innovations. The individual accomplishments can only make meaningful impact if they are collectively harnessed and channeled toward a massive production hub to set the stage for technological leap Nigeria has been looking for. Igbos can lead the way and dictate the pace. We also have a huge landmass to conquer, dominate, and exploit. We have boundless markets to tap into. We have unassailable ingenuity and opportunities presented to us to explore so that we can emerge as leaders again in this land of Nigeria, that we are all also equal owners. What I have simply set out in this book is for our youths to appreciate the opportunities before them and they embrace such instead of bemoaning marginalization of Ndi Igbo and resorting to violence, which is self-defeat. They should come up with pragmatic ways of conquering their fear. Because I've just discovered that most of our young men and women are currently living in fear. I don't want our youth to think that somebody is holding them or holding their destiny down. I also don't want them to continue to be frustrated by the deliberate policies of exclusion. Instead, I want them to be focused on the larger picture of liberation through technology, through trade, through commerce, through which we can dominate Nigeria and dictate the pace of development. Indeed, when the Jews found themselves in a similar situation such as the Igbos of Nigeria today. The Jews simply used their talent to force the world to accede to their legitimate demand through technology and media. The Jews now call the shots in major countries of the world, including the United States of America. That is the challenge before my people, the Igbos. We already have a country. The name of the country is Nigeria. We don't need another country. We should rise and take our rightful place in Nigeria. And we can do this by unleashing our God-given talents, by working in concert, and by being focused on the future, which I believe holds a lot of promise for us. That, in a nutshell, is the essence of the book, Reflections on the Igbo Question. I am very, very positive that you will all find the book informative, inspiring, and reassuring. And this book is capable of regulating the political temperature in the Southeast, of making our youth to become less restive, and making our eyes to be open wide, and discovering what our forefathers left behind for us. The Igbo heritage, the Igbo identity, the Igbo enterprise spirit, the Igbo intellect. In fact, in my own words, Igbos first and others follow. May God bless all of us.
Nigeria, Amaka, I never do what Yaputanu Nigwe, Kaisoro Sodema, Mesio Bodoma, I never go Bodozo. Nigeria, Amaka, Yasibo Bodoma, Nigeria, Amaka, I never go Bodozo, unto the owner. Do I lift up my soul? I'm on a zero. Oh my Lord.
Thank you very much, Felix and Dupe and his band. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, that was His Excellency, the Governor of Imo State, Distinguished Senator Hope Uzodima, doing that final thing on the book that just got presented. May I quickly give you a rundown of the recognitions here left with us. I have on my list Chief Enoch Wapa, who is here with us. My own brother, Chief Sly Ugochukwu, Big Brother Sly, wherever you are, I thank you and welcome you. Chief John Bosco Zuribo, Obuaga, Big Brother Sly, if you're here, why don't you come to the microphone? Because you are expected actually to make your presence felt in your usual way. Simple but powerful. My own brother Ugo Sly, please come forward. God bless your name.
I give thanks to the Almighty God for keeping us alive to this day. Your Excellency, Senator Hope Uzodima, those at the high first and the back bench of this occasion, I salute every one of you My name is Uzodima, and I'm so honored and gratified to be here today and honor this show for His Excellency the Governor, because I have known him and followed him, and I know how nicely he treats people. The Governor is a man of large heart. He's so sincere. Like in Julius Caesar said, when the poor has cried, hope has wept. He sympathizes with the poor. He's a good mixer. He's a lover of everybody. And today, to help launch this book, I am doling out 5 million. And I am so happy again that this book was written. At least conspiracy theorists will now cease to run their mouth. Thank you, and thank you, and thank you once again. Bye-bye. Uzodima, I want their brother, in the sum of 9 million, a man of very few, but full of God bless you. Thank you. Give a rundown of the recognition Thank you. Ice. May I quickly recognize Honorable Princess Miriam Wanoa, representing Okigwe North in the Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I also have Chifosi Tamaneri in the House, Priest and Lolo Jeff Okachuko, Director General Hope Tonga. I also have His Royal Highness Eliva Hame Buruburu. I welcome you, sir. I also have here Chairman Pamline and Co. Automobile, Chief Victor Ojinaka. We thank you, Ojinaka. Victor, we welcome you in a very special way, sir. And he gave us something, 500,000 naira. Here, that's the slip. Algon, Imo State. Algon, Imo State, I'm talking about Willie Okoliego, Honorable Willie Okoliego of Algon. Please come do your thing here. Honorable Obin Nokara, I welcome you. Honorable Prince Obin Nokara, we welcome you in a very special way. Algon, Brother Gigi Collins, I welcome you too. God bless you. Algon, Chief Dr. Mrs. Rupi Emele, I welcome you in a very special way. Adane, God bless you. Dr. Nina Wolo, I welcome you. Honorable Dr. Mrs. Rupi Emele, Maya Gemon, we welcome you in a very special way, man. God bless you. Algon Chairman, we are waiting for you. Algon Chairman, Willie Okoliego, we are still waiting for you here. Honorable J.J. Chukwueke. Okay. Otume Shiese, Right Honorable Ernest Ibejiago, Emeka J.J. Yakashela will come, I'm here with you. And Otume Shiese, Honorable. When you see Algon is here, Willie is here. May I have your attention, distinguished ladies and gentlemen? Let us listen to the Algon band do his thing.
Your Excellency, distinguished Senator Uzodima, the Governor of Imo State, on behalf of my 26 other colleagues, the IMC chairman of the 27 local government areas, we want to support this particular presentation of this book with a sum of 2.7 million naira, with 27 copies to each of the local government areas. Thank you very much.
The national anthem, wherever you are.
Thank you.